in here? This is a demolition derby. These men are demolishing themselves, their bodies, their careers. Oh, no.
This is the most fun, aggressive environment I've ever witnessed in 20 years.
Look out. Oh, my gosh.
Angle brought shoulder first into the corner.
Oh.
And Undertaker head first into the same jump car.
I'm telling you, JR, they said they would bleed. They said they would suffer. They said they would do whatever it takes to become the WWE champion in every one of a minute.
Hey folks, welcome to the SmackDown podcast. We are live. Oh my God! Hey, look, we got faces on the screen now. Well, there's at least two of us. We got Benji and myself and Mr. Sebastian. Sebastian, your screen's dying. You may want to refresh it. But this is the
We lost one.
we lost one. We lost one. This is the SmackDown podcast, you guys. We cover all your main WWE shows: Raw, SmackDown, NXT, 205 Live. Verdict's still out on NXT UK, and Jesus, I think they're gonna add Benji. Did you hear they're gonna add NXT China or something?
So it's they're gonna hit the Asian market, then they're gonna hit Latin America, and then there's gonna be an NXT, possibly NXT Canada.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, it's a lot.
NXT, dude, the name Takeover is for real, son.
Yeah.
Tonight, you guys, we're trying something new. We're covering a classic match. We got to think of a clever. We probably should have already thought of this, but a clever name. We are covering WWF Armageddon 2000.
Throwback.
Arguably one of the best Attitude Era pay-per-views. One of the best. I said one of the best in the last show, and one of Sebastian's people called me out, and he was like, I can think of several other better pay-per-views. But I just got done watching the show, man. It was dude, it was refreshing. It was refreshing as fuck, man. Actually, it's so refreshing that I'm actually off my rhythm, man, you guys. I am off my rhythm.
What?
I am, man. This intro, I gotta plug us. Where can you find us? Oh, we are on Spotify, Podbean. If you're listening to this, great. You can catch all our ugly mugs for the first time ever over on YouTube. Give us except for Benji's facial hair, which is on point, son. Is that real? Is that that is real, son? God damn, I'm jealous of that beard. I'm not gonna lie. Do us a favor, man. Hop over on YouTube. Give us a subscribe. Help us get to that 100 subscribers so we can get that custom URL. While you're at it, you can hit us up on Twitter. We are at the SmackDraw Pod. And you can get myself at the Kai Tai Show. I'll go ahead and tell where you can find Mr. Rob Roode, who was gonna be here. You can find him at 2 words can't see me. That is 2 TWO C the letter C. Mr. Styles over here, as he's been dubbed, and Benji. I'll let you guys go ahead and tell them where they can find you.
Go ahead, man.
At WrestlingFan_32. It's about as creative as today's creative team in the WWE, but
Alright, you can find me at Calavera Comedy on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff.
Oh, fucking terrific, dude. Yeah, and I don't know if you guys picked that up, but Mr. Styles over here is at Wrestling, what again?
WrestlingFan_32.
Yeah, sorry. Your mic cut out on my end, so I wasn't sure if the show picked it up. That's why I was double checking.
Oh, you're good.
All right, cool, man. Cool. We are doing a wrestling giveaway also as well. Let me see here.
Oh, that's still going on?
Still going on, but we have people in it. So by the end of this week, it will be done, and we can move on to the next one. But I got here a set of Road to 2019 WrestleMania cards. You have a chance to win yourself a 40th anniversary Intercontinental Championship autographed card right there, folks. Right there for you. Go ahead. Just hop on Twitter. Say, hey, look, like and subscribe to @SmackDrawPod, man. Just at the podcast. Tell people to listen to us. Tell them to subscribe to our YouTube channel, actually. That's the big part. And you will be entered by what today's Sunday, so I would say by Monday, tomorrow, or Tuesday, I'll go ahead. We'll randomly pick one of you guys, and we'll be in touch, and we'll send you your wrestling cards, man. It's pretty cool.
Cool. What do they got to do?
Huh?
What do they have to do?
Get on Twitter and just tell people to subscribe. Go on YouTube and subscribe to @SmackDrawPod. That's pretty much it.
It's simple, easy.
Man, simple, bro. So you guys, I think I'm done, man. I'm honestly I'm thrown off by seeing our faces on camera. I've normally been able to hide behind the still shot, so this is a little weird to me. I didn't forget anything. We plugged you guys on Twitter. We plugged the show where you can listen to us. We plugged what our show fucking is. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think so.
Thank you. You instill so much confidence. All right. You guys, we watched hopefully we all watched Armageddon 2000 today, or within the last day or two.
Sure.
Classic.
So that's what we're doing tonight?
Yeah, classic Attitude Era pay-per-view. I think it's still considered Attitude Era. I noticed Gerald Briscoe was wearing a WWF shirt and it said Attitude under it, so I feel confident it's Attitude Era. You guys, what do you think, man? What's your take looking back 19 years at the Biz?
It was such a throwback, man. Watching all these people, it was kind of trippy. I had forgot how long R-Truth has been in the WWE.
Yeah.
That tripped me out so bad,
right?
Seeing him, man. Oh my god, and looking the exact same.
Yeah, dude don't age, man. That was trippy. And even that, seeing a lot of these wrestlers who are not even alive anymore, man.
No, that is true. I mentioned earlier in the group chat, we saw 5 wrestlers that have since passed, and it was a little weird. I don't know how to articulate it, man. I'm not gonna lie. It was odd seeing it. So just to knock it out of the way, we saw the late Eddie Guerrero, Chyna, Chris Benoit, Crash Holly, and Test. All 5 have since passed, and they were all playing a part to various degrees in this pay-per-view. Yeah, so that was interesting. Like I said, but to try to go away from the dark side of that and just hop back on R-Truth, it was crazy to see R-Truth look the damn same, man. He looked the same, dude.
Dude, he can move, man. I forgot how quick that dude was.
Yeah. Same with in the main event, Rock, Austin, and Kurt Angle. Seeing them really spry, especially Angle. That was night and day, because he did have his little comeback matches last year. Yeah, that was interesting as stuff. Really quick, before we get into going through the segments, let's go ahead and just I'm gonna call out Mr. Sebastian. Go ahead and refresh your stream real quick, bro. You have been frozen for a minute.
Oh my gosh.
Was he frozen on your side, Benji?
Yeah, but I was admiring the beard, so I don't want
I was
to say it.
wondering
The
why
beard?
nobody caught out my cat. So.
No, yeah. There we go. We'll work out a system how we can slyly just say hey, refresh your stuff, bro. But anyways, right out the gate, you guys, this pay-per-view, this is what I noticed, and correct me if I'm wrong, but custom set, pyro,
Yeah.
the music, JR and King, for the most part, they were awesome. There's a part later on when especially during the Billy Gunn and Chris Benoit, where they cringe kind of kicked in. But boy, didn't it feel like a welcome home? Like to like just, I don't know, man. I mean, I know Sebastian, you said that you came into wrestling, you started watching wrestling just after Attitude Era, right?
Yeah. I was 6 years old at the time of this pay-per-view, so.
Okay. I assume you didn't watch it when it happened?
No, I never started watching full-time until 2003.
Okay. Was this your first time seeing the pay-per-view?
Top to bottom, yeah. I went back and I watched Hell in a Cell.
Oh, well, fuck, man. Dude, screw my opinion. You fill us in. You're fresh eyes, man.
It was a fun show. Of course, the main event was. It brought the show. The first half, it was okay to me. It wasn't great, but around, I don't know, the tag title match probably. That's when it started picking up better.
That tag title match, that crowd came unglued. Yeah, man.
The opener was good. The back-to-back run-ins, that kind of got me out of it a little bit.
Dude, how big was Right to Censor back then? Like, Jesus, they were like
It's hated.
They were just about like in every segment other than the main event. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
I remember thinking to myself, like, the nostalgia, like, oh, like throughout like the beginning part of the pay-per-view, I was like, dude, I've missed this. Especially, like I said, talking about the custom set, pyro music, all that stuff. I was like, boy, I missed all of this. And the opening match we'll get into, there were so many elements where I was like, geez, I missed this. And then the second I saw Right to Censor, I was like, okay, I don't miss that. I don't miss Right to Censor one fucking bit, dude.
It just seemed like there was so much more like freedom in what they were doing, and not so much just the hands-on micromanagement. It seemed like everybody cared about what they were doing. Not that they don't care now, but it just, even with the set, the camera angles, the production, the matches, their work, how they were wrestling, everything, it just seems night and day compared to now. Now is everything so restricted and so contained. Like, this is, you forget how much freedom that they actually had, even in their matches and stuff like that.
Yeah, so many little things you notice too.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes it's just the simple little things that you pick up on. You don't see that a lot now compared to this pay-per-view.
It felt like there was less like corporate structure to me.
Yeah.
The only corporate structure I felt that they were driving down a throat, and it made sense, was the danger of the main event. And even then, it wasn't overwhelming. Yeah, like, it made sense.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, you feel like they're just shoving shit down your throat, like you're some drunk chick at a frat party, and you're like, I'm not really into this, you know?
Oddly specific, but I get what you're saying.
But no, man, it was good. Like the show wasn't perfect. Obviously, it has its flaws. Some things didn't age well, but overall, man, it was a nice trip. I might have the nostalgia blinders on for a good portion of it, but I feel like some stuff held up. How about Benji? You'll appreciate this. How about the intergender wrestling that was involved?
Dude, I completely forgot about that match until I was rewatching it. Dude, that match was wild, man.
The China and Val Venus?
Yeah, like, I completely forgot that they did that.
Mm-hmm.
I was hyped watching that. I was like, what?
Yeah, man.
A lot of people have different opinions on intergender wrestling. I think if it's done right, it can be on par with anything else, and I think they did it pretty good here.
Yo, China was way ahead of her time, man.
Yeah.
Along with a lot of people here. She wasn't the only one, but no, China especially. Watching her, I would say, watching China, Molly Holly, Trish Stratus, and Ivory. Those four women were way ahead of their time because they had that real work ratio. Like, they were real wrestlers. And then, unfortunately, WWE shortly after their tenure, went the direction of hiring like models, just women that were models, had nothing to do with the wrestling business, and then trained them how to wrestle after the fact. And so the quality and the perspective on female wrestling took a nosedive after them. But really, and it makes you forget about them, because you think about the Diva era, and it almost like puts a mask over all the women before them. Watching this, I completely forgot how many talented women, were on the roster prior to the Diva era, and then and even though they weren't given but a couple minutes for their matches, they still made the most out of it, and it was,
They packed a lot into it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly, man. It was incredible, man. That caught me off guard more than I think anything else. But let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. We kicked the night off. We had a six person intergender tag team match. Not 2 male, 1 female per team, but the Team Extreme, Hardy Boys, and Lita taking on the Radicals.
Radicals.
Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, and Perry Saturn. Boy, I miss them, man. I don't know what it is, man. Is it nostalgia, or were these guys really just like lightning in a bottle at the time, man? I don't know, man. I don't know. But the match was good. They had to pack everything really quick. So just like today, the eliminations happened very quickly. Early in the match, what was it? Lita helped out, hit a twist of fate on Eddie. Dude, the crowd was cheering Eddie sucks. How was that for you guys? Did that throw you off?
That's wild. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Eddie was such a good heel.
He came in from WCW as a bad guy, as a heel.
Yeah.
I know, man. And now perception, dude. Like, obviously, since he's passed, everyone loves Eddie. But, like, it was so weird. Just him in his prime, when the crowd were buying his character and just they were eating it up and chanting Eddie sucks. Like, it was before everyone like appreciated like the artist they had in front of them, man. But Eddie Guerrero of all people was the first one eliminated. Lita hit a twist of fate. Jeff Hardy hit the Swanton Bomb. Bam, Eddie's out. Little scuffle. Saturn hit the Death Valley Driver on Jeff. It was pretty much like the match was just trying to get everyone out besides Lita and Dean Malenko, because they were the main story prior to the elimination match. Malenko and Lita had an intergender match that if Lita lost, she had to go on a date with Dean Malenko. She did lose via Texas Cloverleaf. They had that infamous date where, oh man, I don't know how to describe. I'll let you describe it, Benji. You talk through these things better than I do.
Picture your worst date in high school, and you ended up somehow you finessed yourself your way into a date with the hottest chick in the school. You're going on to that date. You don't know really what to do. It's awkward. You're sweating. You're nervous. You don't know what's going on. It reminded me a lot of like my prom night. Just a lot of awkwardness, a lot of sweat. And just passive aggressive, his screen died again.
Yeah, no, I got you, Ben. I'll send you a message like through Twitter.
Yeah, I got it. I got it.
But go on.
No, yeah, dude, it was. You ever see them little clips of like Chris Hansen when he's trying to catch the predator and everything? It was kind of like that. It was awkward fuck,
to catch a predator with Dean Malenko.
To catch a predator with Dean Malenko. Yeah, bro, it was awkward.
That was so bad.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, awkward's definitely the right word. I actually went back and I watched the 2 episodes of Raw and 1 episode of SmackDown before, so I watched a little bit of the build.
Benji Sebastian is a well-respected journalist here, man. He did his research for real.
props to it, man. Like,
No, I like watching the builds and I really wanted to see the build for the main event mostly,
right.
just
Yeah.
to see how they build that, and that's the main reason I went back.
Did you
So.
see the infamous Rock promo where he imitated all
Yeah,
the guys
yeah.
in it? That promo was so good.
Oh damn!
I did it for the Rock. Oh my god, so good. But this match was just fuel for the feud between Lita and Dean Malenko. So everyone else was eliminated, and it came down to the two of them. Dean and Lita had a good beginning of the match, but Dean gets ultimately the control of the match when he superplexes her, which that caught me like right out. I was like, oh yeah, we're in a different era.
He
Watching
did it.
That's a hard
Oh,
superplex.
man.
Yeah, watching men superplex women. It was so different. But you could tell, man, they're professionals though. They're professionals. Like
They let them go.
yeah.
I mean,
But Dean got the upper hand. He refused to pin Lita. He would go to pin her and then pick her up so he can inflict more damage. He did that twice, ultimately to get the Texas Cloverleaf on her, where she taps out. The Hardy Boys eventually come back to run off Dean Malenko. But this is one of those things where WWE wasn't scared to have the heels go over, like, with no immediate repercussions. Like, it was different to me. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, do you get where I'm coming from, Benji? Like,
No, not at all.
not at all? Damn, I'm fucking stupid then, apparently. It just,
the fault I had kind of goes to that. Like today's product, the opener usually is something to make the crowd happy.
okay, maybe that was it. Maybe that's what it
Yeah,
was.
and that's what for me. That was actually in my notes too. When they came out first, I was like, well, Lita's gonna pin Dean automatically because that's what I'm accustomed to today. You know?
Right.
So that threw me off. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
How about the super young Michael Cole interviewing Lita after the match? Did y'all catch that?
Yeah.
Oh, he had like the frosted tips hair and like with the blonde. Like, oh, Michael Cole was clueless, man, back then in the day. But it was so weird, man. You got King and JR on commentary and Michael Cole ringside interviewer. And but that was it. Yeah, Lita claimed that she knew she could beat Dean Malenko afterwards. But that was it for them. We cut to that to backstage. Kurt Angle's warming up and is interviewed by Lillian Garcia. We are just getting a bunch of just nostalgia. Lillian Garcia, one of the most well-respected ring announcers, backstage cutting an interview with Kurt Angle. I missed a little bit of this. The only thing I caught was Kurt Angle saying, I think, like, no offense, but Alabama's full of a bunch of inbred hicks. And then I had to go do something. But was there anything else to this interview? Like, did I miss anything?
He pretty much had a name for everyone. He pretty much said, I'll go out there and beat a badass, a fat ass, a redneck. What? I can't remember what the name he had for Triple H, but he just named them off different names like that.
It was pretty much a promo to sell the main event, though, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to sell the danger of it. Just
No.
trying to sell it. And that was a thing throughout the night.
Yeah. Throughout the night, they're trying to sell it. Benji. Yeah, how about William Regal, man, in that ring?
Ooh.
That is a professional, son.
To this day, one of the most underrated wrestlers of all time, man. People forget about William Regal, man. Dude brought it.
I love how he was like doing the whole no offense, but you guys are fucking rednecks. Like, you know, just like that was like the theme like of his promo. Like, y'all might love. I forget what he was saying because I don't have it typed down, but it felt like he's like, y'all might love fucking goats, but you know, like it was like to that extent. Oh my god, dude, it was so good. but he essentially was telling the crowd you might cheer Hardcore Holly because he's from Alabama, but you should cheer me. At the end of his promo, Hardcore Holly comes out. They have a match for the European title. Pretty standard match. Raven comes in, DDT's Hardcore Holly while the ref is distracted to help Regal get the win. I can't remember what Raven's involvement in this was prior or post. Do you guys have any recollection of that?
I was going to ask Benji that, actually.
I honestly, I don't even know that
That's
one.
true.
It's so far.
Hey, I didn't see him in any of the episodes I watched a couple weeks before. So,
Okay.
I forgot, man.
could have just
I
been
was
this.
tripping up on the whole, like, not even nostalgia, but just going back and watching all these people pretty much in their primes, dude. I was so caught up in it.
Same here, man. Absolutely. That really was it was. At certain points, I got caught like it brought like nostalgia goggles got brought out. You know, like
Right.
taken out, like especially like I said, going into that Billy Gunn and who was it? I think Val Venus match. That's where
No, really good. Chris Benoit.
Chris Benoit, excuse me, but otherwise no, yeah, nostalgia really masked all of it. After that European title match, we had a Rikishi promo, still selling the same thing. The theme here is the main event, super dangerous. Someone could be hurt. If someone is seriously injured, Mick Foley will relinquish his title as commissioner, which, by the way, let's all just say, best post-wrestling Mick Foley is Commissioner Mick Foley from the Attitude Era. Yeah. Oh, man. Absolutely, dude. That's where he invented the cheap pop.
Yeah.
That's where that came from, man. Come on now.
Yeah, when they announced the sale, I remember King said something, all that just for the cheap pop?
Second intergender match of the night. How often can you say that about a WWE program? We got Chyna facing off against Right to Center's Val Venus. At this point, I mentioned earlier, I realized I did not miss Right to Censor. That intro alone is nails on a goddamn chalkboard, bro. But it's and you have the women's champion Ivory on the outside. Val Venus. I mean, you had a good match. This really highlighted. You forget about it. I don't know if it's because you're young and you don't know how to appreciate it, or you just don't naturally appreciate stuff till it's gone. But Chyna was just really good in the ring. Like, she is a different breed. You don't see women like her in WWE. Now, there's a couple that I think might make the comparison outside of WWE, but I can't think of any main roster women that get that same appeal as her. She was one of a kind. Like, is that fair to say?
Yeah.
The eighth wonder of the world.
Eighth wonder of the world, bro. For real, man. I had forgot. I was hoping that she was coming out with the bazooka, but unfortunately this was prior to Chyna having a bazooka as part of her entrance. But Val Venus.
Different times, man. Different times.
It was so good times. Val Venus got the win. After Chyna was distracted by Ivory and went to attack her, Val Venus gets the fisherman suplex for the pin. It floats over for the pin. After the match, Chyna tries to attack Ivory again, and Val Venus attacks her again. Once again, heels coming out on top with no repercussions, and against women. And
to Sebastian's point, the double interference prior to this match and then interference in this match, that also kind of threw me off a little bit. I thought it was odd to put those that kind of finish back to back with each other.
Yeah. Well, I mean, back in the day, they were running very loose too. There was, I don't know, like,
it seemed to happen a lot more often than what it does today.
Yeah,
Just
no,
from
it's
what I
true.
went
Like
back and forth.
overbooking the matches
Yeah.
was more often.
Right.
So at this point, I was elated. This was the first time I got to see the Stooges in a long time. Even though we just got them on the Raw reunion, backstage we had Vince McMahon being greeted by Pat Patterson and oh gosh. Oh wait, no, I think that was actually earlier in the night. Pat Patterson and I'm killing myself. Gerald Briscoe.
Right.
Joining him to the ring. Essentially, Vince McMahon is just saying that last week on SmackDown, he told Linda he wants a divorce. She's not good enough for him, and he doesn't regret saying any of that stuff, which is just classic Vince back in the day. But he also admits that he has revoked his power over matchmaking to Mick Foley. So he's pleading with the crowd, please join me in trying to cancel the main event. Who the fuck is going to cancel the 6-man Hell in the Cell main event, dude? Like, oh my God.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Vince, good luck, bro. Good luck. No, man. But like I said, it was good storytelling. It just, the overall theme and how the main event played out, it was good, man. It was good. What'd y'all think of the Jericho and Kane last man standing match that we got?
Go ahead. You go first.
For a last man, it wasn't your usual brutal last man standing match. There was a lot of, I don't know, it was slow paced, I guess, which they all are when you're waiting, I guess. But 90% of the offense was Kane for the longest
Kane ate
part.
a hell of an unprotected chair shot to the head, though. I'll
Yeah,
say that.
yeah. Later in the match when Jericho turned it, yeah. And that's another thing. All we had was the chair, right? Was that?
The chair and the
barrels at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, the barrels.
Right.
So for a last man standing match, it wasn't. I expected, I guess, more going on.
Yeah.
I guess
Right.
that's that.
That's honest.
To me, nothing said late 90s, early 2000s. And Jericho knocking down the barrels and have the big old radioactive signs on them.
Yes. I loved it, man. I loved it.
Those little details in the set, like I was like, they had like
The
cars that looked like
custom
run
set,
down in the
man.
back, right?
Fucking just how. Are you
And
really
I feel
hurting for money that bad, WWE?
Right.
That you can't have custom sets anymore? Like they added to almost half of the matches those custom sets did. They really did. By the way, a little Easter egg that I picked up on during this match. When the match started, they went backstage. What was backstage? The construction workers on the truck full of like wood chips that would be involved in the main event later on. I had no memory of ever seeing those guys prior to the main event, but during this match, it went immediately backstage, and at one point, Chris Jericho tries to bash Kane's head off the truck, and Kane blocks it, but it's obviously the truck with all the wood chips or pine needles, whatever it is in that truck. But
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I did. I picked up on it immediately because it fucked with one of my answers.
That's a little bit of foreshadowing.
Right?
That type of little production, those little details, dude, go a long way.
Here it is, 19 years later. I never picked up on it till I rewatched it again, man. And I was like, oh, that's the fucking truck, man. That's the truck,
Right.
But, the match pretty much goes, Kane gets the upper hand early on. Chris Jericho refuses to die. At one point, Kane tries to put Jericho away with a tombstone on a chair. Chris counters, gets a low blow, beats Kane up with the chair, unprotected headshot with the chair, hits the lion salt onto the chair, which is on Kane. They eventually go to the top of the ramp where the set is. Chris Jericho knocks down a huge stack of metal barrels onto Kane to hold him down for the 10 count, with only his hand emerging from the barrels, or from
thought that was a nice
emerging from the
match.
wreckage. I
That's
thought that
one
was
of those.
cool, man. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I
that
had
was
that one,
that was good. Hey, any of y'all remember WWF New York?
yeah.
For real? I
Yeah.
thought it was only me, because, you know, you guys are like babies, right? Y'all are like... Well, I know...
No,
you
I
were
mean,
like-
when I go back and
you were-
watch that thing.
Huh?
You were like what, 25 during this time?
Fuck you, Benji. I swear to God, I'm going to call ICE. I will call ICE. I swear to
This
God.
motherfucker.
Oh,
Yeah, but
man.
it was an alright last night standing match. Not the brutal, hardcore last night standing matches that we're used to. But it was alright.
Yeah. No, you're right,
It was
man.
okay. Especially given that we got the Hell in a Cell we did later. So I kind of understand why they didn't go over,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes
It really helped. Like, I mean, if you think about it, how girthy the main event was, you had to cut these matches shorter, because this was way prior to the pay-per-views being 4 to 5 hours long, you know? But I think, like, honestly, all these matches, with the exception of one of them, they did good with the short time that they had. Because we had the WWF New York interview with HBK telecast. You had pretty much over satellite JR asking HBK, you know, what are your thoughts on tonight's main event? HBK, I think, was, correct me if I'm wrong, he was in the original first Hell in the Cell, right, against Undertaker, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
So HBK sold it. I like that. After the interview was done, JR complimented his hat, and HBK kind of looked back real quick. Was like, "Oh, thanks for the compliment." Like, it was really genuine. I don't know. It caught me off guard. But it led us into, at this point, the match. Like, by this point, the night is going well, but this match woke everyone up, and it was the Four Corners tag team title match between the teams of oh my God, who we, Edge and Christian, Dudley Boys, the Right to Censor. They had the Good Father and Bull Buchanan, and Mr. 24/7 champion himself, R-Truth, as K-Quick with Road Dogg. Yo, how fucking surreal was looking at R-Truth coming out, singing his entrance, and looking the fucking same, bro. Oh my God. It was so good. And he can go. He arguably looks better in the ring now than he did then. Like, I don't... This dude, man.
it blew my mind.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, when I was watching the build and he came out 2 weeks before, I was like, whoa.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't...
Yeah, there was not a lot of people coming out rapping their theme songs like that, and then he just came in with such an energy, man. Just so raw. And then you see him now, dude, and it's just like you said, he's a lot better now. That he was good back then, but he's even better now that he's put it all together. And at his age too, it's not a lot of people can do that.
No, very, very little. His theme with Road Dogg, that showed WWF/WWE their prime with their music collaboration when nu metal. It's funny that nu metal is such a hated on music genre, but it fits so well with the WWF product. And
That's so 2000s, man.
yeah, I'm telling you. But that was their the song. I think it was called like "Get Rowdy" or something. Poor Road Dogg sounded like a 1992 rapper when he was next to K-Quick. Like he did too. Oh my goodness. But but that match, dude, everyone came unglued. It started out pretty good. But once the Dudley Boys came in, got the hot tag, and they started cleaning house.
Yo, they were moving, man.
Yeah, dude, Bubba and
They were so fucking quick, yo.
yo, they really. My wife was actually, she sat down to watch the match with me, and she was like, "Oh,
Right.
Dudley Boys are winning this," you know what I mean? And I was like, "Who am I to argue?" Because they were dominating everyone, and then I was like, "Wait." Back in the day, Edge and Christian stole victories left and right, and that's exactly what happened. The Dudley Boys did all the work. They were 3Ding everyone. At one point, Bubba Ray botched a 3D, and I think he had like Bull Buchanan land like completely on him.
Like
Yeah.
a frog splash, pretty much.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. But they hit like
He was so
two
pissed, dude.
what's ups, the diving headbutt to the groin, and hit a couple 3Ds. They did all the damn work, and then Edge and Christian, just laid and waited, and they stole the victory off of their hard work, which was prime Edge and Christian back in the day too. This was interesting because how big Edge and Christian are. This pay-per-view showed that they actually kind of took a backseat to the competition. I felt like in this tag match, not the Hardy Boys, excuse me. Dudley Boys were obviously the stars of this one,
Right. Okay.
and everyone else took a backseat. And so it was weird to see that, not every time that Edge and Christian were on a pay-per-view together that they were under the spotlight. So that was pretty much
I
it.
can see your point.
Yeah.
It's just this entire card was so stacked, man. And then you had a lot of people, a lot of these wrestlers still coming transitioning over from WCW. The card is stacked, space is limited. I feel like everybody came in with a point to prove. Everyone was fighting for their spots, trying to be better than the next guy. And I think that showed in this pay-per-view. You had Edge and Christian, like you said, they usually are on the spotlight. Here they're kind of taking a little bit of a backseat, and everybody's kind of shining a little bit brighter than them in this one.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it was refreshing, and the whole time I was asking myself, is this the nostalgia goggles or the system that was taking place here? Is it just producing better content,
I just think the way everything was set up, it produced better content. Because if you do go back and look at like a regular Raw or anything back in those times, sometimes a lot of it is not good.
Yeah.
No.
If you take the nostalgia goggles out, a lot of it's pretty bad. But
very cringe-worthy, too. Like, there's so much cringe that goes with the Attitude Era that people don't acknowledge.
No.
But, no, like, this pay-per-view delivered. Like, especially when that tag match happened, that's when I personally was put on notice. I was like, okay, look at the tag division. They got the biggest reaction out of the crowd so far. The crowd's hot. They're panning like Kevin Dunn. I don't know if Kevin Dunn was doing the production back then where he's like panning to fans in the ring or fans in the crowd. But anytime a camera panned to a fan in the crowd, they were losing their shit. You didn't see a single bored fan looking at their phone or just like not in tone with what was being sold. No, like every fan was just in tune with the product, and it was so badass. It was so awesome, dude.
Of course, when I watched the pay-per-view for the first time, like I said, that's when I started getting more into the pay-per-view.
Right. You woke up and started paying attention.
I mean, like I said, the opener was good, especially when between Lita and Dean, they let them go. But after that,
Hell yeah. You kind of go through a lull. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to go through a lull
moment too. Like I told you, I'm very just a small little things. In today's product, that situation, R-Truth was crawling the Road Dogg, and Bull came and pulled Road Dogg off. Well, instead of staring at the empty corner like anybody today would, R-Truth didn't go miss a beat. He went straight to Bubba. Fucking
Yeah, man.
it
Oh, the hot tag
went
to
a high.
Bubba.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Like, it
Yeah,
made
yeah, yeah, yeah.
sense.
In today's world, if Dash gets knocked off, Scott's just gonna stare at that corner.
Yeah. No, you're
Yeah,
right. It
true,
made sense.
true.
Like, I'm tired of getting my ass beat. I'm going to tag anyone in. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
R-Truth's like, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here for a minute.
Right.
you know, common
So-
day R-Truth would probably still do the same fucking thing, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. So here came the first part where I was like, ooh, yeah, the time kind of made me feel bad. It was the Intercontinental Championship match between Chris Benoit and Billy Gunn. Can you guys, Billy Gunn was champ, right? Going into
Yeah.
this match?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the thing that threw me off here is because the in-ring work was good. You just had two guys that are really good in-ring technicians. Billy Gunn, I forgot, is like 6'5", 240 pounds. Billy Gunn's a big fucking guy, dude. I forgot all about that. But that's besides the point. This was the first time I could hear Vince feeding the lines to the commentators, because you had the first major one was King saying that Benoit sees that Billy Gunn is wearing 2 earrings, referencing right and left ear, and that's going to make him want to inflict some extra damage, like gay bashing, essentially.
Yeah.
And then it went on to say that if I was in the ring, I'd be wanting to pull at least one of those earrings out. And they fed that to like King and JR a couple times, and you forgot that, like, how I'm not all about the PC culture, but at the same time, to bash some dude because his character is perceived as gay was kind of fucked up, man. It was pretty fucked up back then. Like, and it distracted me from the match, because otherwise the match was pretty good. It was fucking Chris Benoit and Billy Gunn. They had an awesome match, but they were trying to sell the fact, like, drive it home. Billy Gunn's gay. Chris Benoit is gonna want to beat his ass even more now because he's gay. Like, it was fucking weird, dude.
I mean, it was a different time, man. Like,
Yeah.
the world was a different place. You know, I didn't even catch that whole earring thing until you mentioned it.
Yeah.
But it does seem like something that would happen during that time. Yeah.
I didn't
don't
know so
It was-
either.
Yeah, I really did.
I was trying to tune in the commentary a little bit, though, after the ring promo. Benji, was this I don't know, he called you the encyclopedia so much. In today's, you don't really notice, like, if there's a promo going on, a lot of times they'll let the guys speak and not, after every single line, say something. You know what I mean?
Right.
But during the Regal promo, I just started noticing, and like I said, I haven't watched all this era. Like, every single time Regal said like 3 words, King or JR would have like a little tidbit. And that just took what was happening on the screen away from me. And I just tried to block them out a little bit after the Regal promo.
Oh shit.
I didn't
Like-
even notice that myself, actually.
Like, I actually put a couple of them in a note.
Huh.
One sec.
While you're looking it up, like, I may
Okay.
have gone. While you're looking it up, I may have gone too strong into that, because it was quick, but it did stand out to me, because I remember a lot of people, when I look back at the Billy and Chuck tag team, I thought it was lighthearted comedy, but for a lot of people, they say that it was mishandled entirely. So I was trying to keep that in mind, and I think that's why I picked up on the commentary, because I was like, where does this come across as offensive? And it had nothing to do with Chuck's character. Like, Chuck was just wrestling. The dude came out and was wrestling in some purple tights and whatever, dude, and they had a real good match. But commentary was trying to drive home that he comes across as gay, and Chris Benoit is going to want to beat him up extra bad now because he comes across as gay. And it was fucking weird, dude. It was weird. It was a weird thing, man. But
Yeah, I don't know who else. But like I'm gonna say, I have JR and King are my favorite combo on the table. One thing I prefer about today's product, though, is they don't say something after a line. Regal says, I care about you people. JR, I mean, not even half a second. Well, sure you do. Regal says something about a handkerchief line. King, no reason. Handkerchief? Regal makes a line about loving animals. JR, well, what's that? What's he talking about? Loving animals. Like, every single line, it seemed like it just had like a song on it to take. Like,
They were interrupting the promos with Regal.
yeah.
Damn, I
Yeah,
didn't
like
even
every
notice.
single line. That was in my notes. I didn't know if that was like a really heavily thing in the attitude there, like during this time.
I think it was more probably more towards certain people. You know, a lot of favoritism during this time in
True.
I guess WWF. There was a lot of favoritism. So if certain people didn't, especially all the guys coming from WCW, they got a hard time. They got a hard time coming in. For like you said, him trying to do a promo and they're trying to undercut it with little, quips here and there. So yeah, there's sort of people, because like if you see Triple H cut a promo during that time, no one's saying anything. It's
Oh,
full
hell
attention
no.
on that.
No.
But yeah,
Triple
like
H
a William
Hell
Regal
no.
or a Chris Benoit or whatever, you did get into those kind of interruptions and everything.
Yeah, it was. But I tried to block them out a little bit. But
Yeah.
as far as the match, I thought Benoit and Gunn had a really good match. They went out there, they told a story. Billy sold his knee, and he sold it good too. Like, how many times today you see somebody sell a knee for 10 minutes, then all of a sudden it don't hurt him no more, and he's doing suicide dives and like everything. But no, there's none of that.
Corkscrew
It was
punches.
a simple. Yeah, I mean, they went out and told a simple story. They wasn't overbooked, and it was just a fine wrestling match.
It was good, man. It was a little. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Where I didn't start watching the 0304, like I'm used to like more tag team Billy, so it was nice for me to go watch
Oh right.
a good singles match from Billy Gunn.
I say even during this time he was tag team Billy. He just happened to get a singles title.
Yeah,
So this
like I
pay-per-view
haven't
kind
seen
of
much
lucked
during
out.
this time.
Yeah. Billy Gunn was always
another thing.
more of a tag team wrestler than a singles competitor. Like,
Yeah, and that's another thing. I've never seen Rikishi drop too many promos because I'm used to Too Cool, Rikishi.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
yeah,
So
that's true.
this promo earlier was kind of cool too. So it brings me to a different viewpoint in some of it.
It was weird for me, man, watching this match because, honestly, it was the Chris Benoit stuff. You see Chris Benoit on the screen, and it's hard to separate yourself from the controversy. But, like, I remember back in the day, Chris Benoit really was my favorite wrestler. It was him and Jeff Hardy. But Chris Benoit was just so vicious. You know what I mean? He was so vicious and a technician. And it was like I said, it was awkward. And then not to mention you also notice that like some of the wrestlers that you're watching that they've since passed. We covered it in the beginning. Like, we saw like I think like 5 of them have passed. And yeah, so I tried to enjoy it as much as I could, and it was a good match. If you can separate all the drama that was surrounding between all the stuff, it was a good match. And but like I said, it was weird. It's always weird now when you see Benoit in a highlight or something like that. But overall, I guess I'm just padding up what Sebastian said. It was a really good match. It was 2 technicians, man. They went to town. Benoit got the victory with a crippler crossface when Billy Gunn couldn't get to the ropes, and Benoit was the new Intercontinental champion after the match. So after that, we only had 2 more promos and 1 match before our main event, which could have been a pay-per-view in itself.
Yeah, true.
Did y'all catch the JR interview with Stone Cold?
Yeah.
Yo, how
Yes,
good
sir.
is Stone Cold?
This dude knows how to talk, man. Like any little thing, it could be something simple, dude. He just pulls you in, man.
I don't recall him ever selling fear. And he sold intimidation to this match. Like he sold.
Right.
I can't sleep. I haven't slept. I'm on like I've been drinking coffee all day. I just want to get in the match and get it going.
Mhm.
Like
It's-
it was crazy,
it's
and
just
he sold it
A
well.
great build, yeah, a great build towards selling that main event. Because you have Stone Cold, who's your badass, dude. He's not afraid of shit, you know. All of a sudden being like, hold on, this match is kind of dangerous. I don't know, you know.
Yeah, it was weird, man. But he didn't come across like he was intimidated. Like he didn't
Right,
want to
but
do
he
it. He
taking
just
it,
sold that
like-
like my nerves are shot. I want to get it
Yeah.
over with. You know.
All six guys really dropped good promos. Did we skip over Triple H?
I think we
Or
did.
we got to that?
we
Yeah,
did,
because
Okay.
like I said, I was skipping the promo, so I was hoping y'all might catch them if I missed one. With Triple H was
yeah, I mean,
with
I
Stephanie,
love it.
right? Yeah, because Triple H was
Yeah.
with Stephanie. Hey Benji,
Oh, yeah.
while Sebastian fills us up, man, refresh your stream, bro.
Oh shit.
I mean, Steph was just sitting there trying to talk him out of it, talking about how he bled or puked up blood for so many weeks after the one with
Yeah, with
Foley
Mick
and stuff like
Foley.
that. And Triple H was like, I don't give a damn. All right. He's like, I want that. That's another thing I noticed too, man. As much as they built this matchup being dangerous, it was all worth it because of that belt.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
they made that belt seem so important back then compared to they do today.
and you know what?
Right.
It paid off because the match was epic. Like,
Yeah.
had it just been
Mhm.
a run of the mill by the numbers Hell in the Cell, that's what you expect nowadays. But they didn't over deliver it. You know, they didn't overhype you for the match. Like the match, I mean, 5 out of the 6 participants bled. The only participant
Yeah.
that didn't bleed got choke slammed off the fucking cell, bro. Like, you know, like
Yeah.
they went all out with that, man. And I've been meaning to ask you. So actually, you know what? I'll actually wait, because we did have one more match. It was the women's match, but I'll ask you a question after the women's.
Okay.
We had the women's triple threat match. This was a precursor to the women's revolution. Absolutely. You have Trish Stratus, Molly Holly, and Right to Censor's Ivory, who is the current champion, in a triple threat women's title match. These women showed they know how to work in the ring. They were given all of, like, what would you guys say, like 5 minutes, if that?
If that,
If that, man, but
If-
they packed everything that they could into the 5 minutes, man.
yeah.
Yeah, they went all out. Molly Holly, I remember, sold a show for me. She did like a double cross body off the top rope. She powerbombed Trish, but just as she got her stuff going, she was thrown out the ring by Ivory and just pinned Trish, who laid there, and that was it, man. It was over within a matter of, like I said, like 2 or 3 minutes. TNA, Test and Albert came out. Crash Holly came out behind them to save Molly, and then they were fended off by the APA, which, by the way, you guys, APA was best version of Bradshaw and like Farouk and Bradshaw, and I will fight anybody who differs, but APA was a perfect fucking tag
Okay.
team, bro. But yeah, that was it, man. That was the match. It was really quick and simple. We got a Rock promo because the night's theme was everybody who's in the main event is going to deliver a promo. What was different about The Rock was it's The Rock. He's like the world's biggest fucking movie star. Seeing him as an active wrestler doing the same stuff as other wrestlers was different. Am I wrong?
No.
No, it was cool, bro.
No,
He didn't sell much. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
We're talking about Stone Cold. He didn't really sell any intimidation. Like,
Mm-mm.
no, he was just.
He's
fuck
the
it,
Rock,
let's
bro.
go.
He's
Yeah,
the
fuck it,
cockiest
let's go.
motherfucker in the ring, you know. Like,
Right.
but here now to the main event, which you could have had an entire pay-per-view around this one fucking match, bro. Oh my god. So I'm gonna ask you guys really quick. Where does this Hell in the Cell match rank in your guys' personal best Hell in the Cell matches of all time? Damn, y'all look like you just took on a huge weight.
Question. But shit. Gun to my head. I'm gonna say it's number 3.
3? What are your 2 that beat it?
I don't know. I just had to pick a number. I don't know, man. I didn't think you were gonna ask a follow-up question. No. Put me on the spot. No, you're not wrong if you put it up there with your top, as the top Hell in a Cell match or your top 3. You know, it's arguably one of the better ones that they've had, and it's not even just the numbers; it's just everything that they've done, that they did in that match itself. You know,
it was the match itself was booked almost to perfection, man. The pacing and everything, like
I wouldn't put it any lower than 5. It would probably. It could be 3 or 4. I'd have to sit here and actually. Like Benji said, you kind of, but I wouldn't go any lower than 5. I wouldn't think.
Yeah.
I mean, for me personally, depending on the weather, to me, and I'll put it out there. I'll be bold.
Oh shit!
It's the best. It's the best Hell in the Cell match ever done, or
okay.
It's the second best. I traded off between the end of the era Hell in the Cell at WrestleMania, whatever, between Triple H and Undertaker with Shawn Michaels as guest referee. This trades off back and forth with that one for me. In my books personally. I liked
Right.
Yeah, so the end of the era match, that one got me on a storytelling perspective.
Okay, I can see that point, yeah.
Yeah. This one got me the pacing was perfect. It didn't start off slow like a Iron Man match. Like, it started off good, but not overdoing it. Because you had, you let them pair off in the middle of the ring. I think they had, like, Stone Cold and Triple H in the ring with everyone else on the outside. And then once their, like, set was done, you had, like Rock and Angle in there. And it was kind of like 1-versus-1 matches, like little glimpses of just like singles matches, while you had like matches taking place on the outside of the ring. And then they added in little hardcore stuff. I messaged you guys on Twitter at one point. Tim White was pleading with Stone Cold on the outside of the ring to stop beating up Triple H so bad, and Stone Cold gave him the finger, you know, and it was just like it was so subtle, but it was good. And and then I remember another part. It was little like stuff that's not even that bad. Like, it was just like the match's pace, just the tempo, just built slowly but surely throughout the whole thing, and just crescendoed at a crazy pivot at the end, man. And I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, it was so well paced. It was just extremely well paced.
One thing I really liked about it is today, when there's multi-man matches, it don't matter what the setting is. When there's 2 guys in the middle of the ring going, there's a lot of standing around. And that's not just WWE. That's industry wide. You know what I mean?
Right. Hey, Benji,
And
refresh
even
your stream.
when there's two in the ring, the other four were still out there. And this wasn't just the start. It was the whole match. They was nobody just chilling the entire match.
Hell no.
And that's...
They did. Yeah, everything they did made sense, you know. Like you said, if there's two guys fighting, the other guy's beating up another guy on the floor, or someone's doing something and no one's just standing around just watching, you know.
I mean, it was a six-way brawl the entire way through. It was
Right.
So where
at one point,
go ahead.
you have action in the ring, and then up top you got the Undertaker and Rikishi about to do some crazy shit, and then you got action going on elsewhere. There's action everywhere, you know.
the only time they were standing was
like
when
the
Rikishi
cameraman
fell.
had a really tough job that night. Well, not the cameraman, but like the producers, like directing what camera views to show. They had a tough damn job that night, man.
The only time anybody was standing is when Rikishi got thrown off, and that really sold that moment because of that.
Yeah,
and you know what?
Yeah.
So much stuff happened prior to that. That was good. So, so the first thing I noticed, besides, the little setups, is the first big thing to happen was in the ring before anything hardcore happened. Most of the competitors got their finishes off on each other. We had stunners, rock bottoms, choke slams from the Undertaker, and all the pins got broken up. And then at that point, a lot of the fights went to the outside where the cage was. And this is where JR finally dropped the line that he had been holding on to for the entire pay-per-view. That we have like the craziest match going on right here in Sweet Home, Alabama. You know they were waiting all night to drop that damn line because of where it was taking place. And then while they're having the fight take on like outside of the ring, and like I said, nothing too crazy has happened. McMahon and the Stooges backed the truck up, ripped the cell door off, and then McMahon is trying to also get them to hoist, to pull down the entire cell. And then we get Mick Foley. He comes out. He has security drag Vince McMahon off, which in the DMs, like Sebastian, you mentioned earlier, like Vince sold it perfectly.
I think
Like,
he did.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is my damn company. It's my company. Like,
Vince fucking McMahon.
but no, it was so good. But then we had to have everyone get busted open. So that's what I felt like drove the story, was people getting busted open. So prior to what I just said, Triple H was raked against the fence. That busted him open. King actually mentioned, King roasted Triple H because he was like, Stone Cold's gonna rake his nose off, because Triple H's got the big nose. But Triple H was the first one busted open. Stone Cold got his face driven through a truck window. He was busted open. Triple H then gave a pedigree to The Rock on the top of a car. The Rock was busted open at that point. We are now at a 50% bleeding ratio for this demolition derby of a goddamn match. Undertaker spiked a microphone off of Kurt Angle's head and then choked him with the wire, which that shows the day and age because the mics had a damn wire. Seb, refresh your stream, bro. But oh my god, yeah, like they just one after another got busted open. I think Angle was busted open by the mic.
Right.
Yeah. And then the last person to bleed was, I think it was Kurt Angle. Wait, no, or maybe it was Undertaker. I can't remember at this point. But, I mean, they took turns, like, busting each other open and beating each other up on the stage. But then it worked its way to the top of the cell, and that's where the stuff went down, man. You know, I think the first ones up there was
Stone
who was-
Cold and Triple H.
Stone
Triple
Cold.
H and stuff.
Yeah, there you guys go.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. They did their spot, so you didn't really expect much from them. Undertaker got up there, kind of mixed it up, but nothing much. And then it really got awkward when you saw Rikishi going up there because you're like, that's a big dude going to the top of
Yeah,
a cell, man.
Yo,
And-
Kurt got spiked with a steel chair too up there. Before
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah.
Bro, did y'all pick up on the crowd when it was just Rikishi and Undertaker and they were just like moving towards the edge?
Yeah.
I could feel
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
anxiety
yeah.
in that crowd, man. It was something else. Boy. But ultimately, we all know
It
how
was-
it goes. Undertaker
it was
choke
a
slams.
straight-
Go
yeah.
ahead. No, you
No,
go
I'm
ahead.
saying, it was a straight trust fall. Like he didn't even look back once.
No.
He
No.
go straight forward, straight backward, man.
YOLO, dude.
Yo, all I could
Yeah,
picture,
right?
all I could picture was, you know,
Straight
because
up.
I mean, these guys are coworkers. You know what I mean? They know each
Uh-huh.
other personally. All I could picture was Rikishi talking to Undertaker, like, dude, I'm fucking scared, man. You know, like I'm so scared right now, like knowing what's about to happen because they predetermine this stuff ahead of time.
Yeah.
All I could picture
Right.
was Rikishi just telling him like I'm fucking scared, and Undertaker like, you sure you want to do this? And then Rikishi like, throw me off, and then that was it, man. Like in
Right.
my head, I played out this whole scenario where they had a conversation that was completely isolated from what we saw, but you think it would have happened. Oh man,
Right.
because that's what happened with Mick Foley and Undertaker at the King of the Ring pay-per-view. That was on the spot. Mick just told Taker, like, in the middle of them brawling on the cage, like, throw me. And Taker was like, all right, cool. And he threw him off, and now we've got the historic spot. Like, that's how that went down. So there is spontaneous conversations, and I imagine anywhere in the WWE where a spontaneous conversation might take place, it's on the top of a Hell of a Cell. Like, just like that's where these guys' real life fears might come into play. But
I mean, that way if you die, you can tell somebody your last words, bro.
oh my
Right.
god, dude. But you all know how it goes, man. Rikishi got fucking choke slammed off the top of the cell into the truck, which was full of I don't know, like what would you call it? Like wood chips?
Wood chips.
Yeah.
Yeah, just about fair.
Yeah. After that spot, no one really remembers anything after that spot, but we transition over and we have a classic Rock versus Austin face-off in the middle of the ring. And that kept the crowd going, man. And the crowd was clearly behind The Rock at this point, man. They were chanting Rocky the whole time. But this was the end of the match. Rock hit a rock bottom on Kurt Angle. Austin came in to break up the count. Austin hits a Stone Cold Stunner on The Rock. But before he can pin him, Triple H comes in, hits a neck breaker. But while the neck breaker is taking place, Kurt Angle comes over and crawls to pin The Rock, who just got stunnered, for the win. And that is the main event, man. And it was amazing. Like, that is serious. If you folks haven't seen this match, dude, you don't have to watch the whole pay-per-view. The whole pay-per-view is good. Hopefully you guys agree with me, right?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
If you watch
yeah.
anything, watch that main event.
If anything, watch the main event. And Seb, go ahead and refresh your stream while we're at it too, man. But yeah, that was nuts, man. That was seriously, from top to bottom, like. So maybe we're looking too far into it, Benji, but would you think that it's fair to say that like WWE should really look into some of their older, more popular shows and try to emulate them? Not maybe copy them. Like, there's certain elements missing in today's product that
That would make it really stand out. Yeah, there's
that we could benefit from.
I mean, yeah, it's always good to go back and check your old work and see what worked and then build on that without having to totally rely on hitting the same beats and going back and playing all the same notes. So I think it's good to go back and look, and they probably should. I just think they're so used to what they're doing now. It's all cookie cutter thing. It works for them, so they're not really pushing the envelope too much. A lot of people would say with potential competition, you're gonna have to. I don't know, man. I just think that there's especially with one thing I hate. This is off topic. One thing I hate is when you're watching WWE now. You say you got the guy beating on the other guy, and then you got the camera just like.
I see what you're doing.
Fucking hit, Stop doing this. I fucking hate this shit.
Yeah,
So
camera work
fucking
is
annoying,
not
man.
their strong suit anymore.
No,
Did you
they have
see
all
the clip
Go
of
ahead.
Seth Rollins beating, I can't remember who it was, down with the chair, but they had the camera footage of the cameraman just like jerking his camera in and out like of the
Oh no, for real?
It was so good, man. It was so good.
Damn. I gotta see that.
But
That's
hey, man,
terrible. Yeah.
y'all go ahead and
Go ahead.
pad like a minute or two. Talk about the pay-per-view. I'll be right back.
Mr.
It's just-
Professional over here. Go ahead.
I mean, like I said, early part, I kind of got out of it, filmed those first couple run-ins there back to back, but once that tag team match came up, I got right back into it. It was fun after that. I mean, not many complaints.
Yeah.
I really loved how they played up the danger of the cell.
Yeah, like you said, that's one thing they don't do nowadays.
Oh, now it's just...
build up your main event,
And I think it really hurts when they have a pay-per-view named him. So back then, man, from Mankind, Shawn Taker, Mankind Taker, Triple H, Cactus Jack, and I think this was number 4, right? No, Big Boss Man. Big Boss Man Taker.
Oh, yeah.
So this is fine. All of them they made seem special.
Right.
But now it's just like, hey, it's October, so we gotta have 2 to 3 Hell in the Cell matches. That really.
That's a really good point. There's like, okay, we know Hell in the Cell's coming up, so a storyline's gonna be built to that. Versus you have your storyline, and that ends up being a result of the story, versus like, oh, we just have to hit certain marks, oh, we got Money in the Bank coming up, we got TLC coming up, which at this point, you don't really differentiate a Money in the Bank match from TLC. It's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah. They don't let it happen naturally, and that's really what benefits. Especially, honestly, I think that gimmick, the Hell in a Cell gimmick, is the most damaged because of the pay-per-view schedules.
Yeah, true.
In a time, like I said, they may sound so dangerous, but every one of them was like, "Fuck it, I want that belt." And today, they don't make their title seem that important. They don't matter what title it is.
It's a very good point, man.
No,
I mean,
awesome
6 guys risking their career. And had great promos. I think we skipped Taker's promo, too. The one where he was inside the cell.
Yeah, he was. I like the Hell in the Cell.
Yeah.
The risk of danger.
And I really love those segments when they film it before anybody's in the arena.
Right.
Bring the realism to it. I really like those. I think he did great with that segment.
Nah, man, it's a good point. Like I said, yeah, they got a system now which is just doesn't come across as genuine. So you can't call the performers bad, but it's just not a genuine system, and it's
overproduced.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
Yes, that's the best way you could put it. Well, anyway, I mean that was the pay-per-view. Anyways, let's get to our questions. I'm excited for this first one.
What's up?
Oh, do me a favor, Sebastian. You sent us the questions, but we gotta mention who asked them. So can you help me out here? So the first one is, can you discuss the storyline reason for the pine chips or the what did we say, like the
Wood chips?
Wood chips, pine chips, yeah, same thing. To be in the back of the truck, kayfabe wise. We know it was there for Rikishi to fall into the truck and use to pull the door off. But storyline, like, why was it there? Essentially, like, kayfabe, like, why did that make sense? I actually, not gonna lie, I did a lot of work to make this answer make sense. And so
here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, exactly. This was my reason why it was there. It was that. Let me pull my notes up here. If I can get to it. Here we go.
Let's go. Let's see your long-winded.
It's not long-winded. I just had to get the names right. So, the reason why there was a truck with wood chips present in the proximity of the event was Oak Hill Cemetery is right across the street from the Jefferson Convention Complex where the event was taking place. They were doing some landscaping, bro, during that time period, but the landscapers don't work on Sundays, so their equipment was left over. Vince just saw a vacant truck with the wood chips and fucking hopped in and brought it into the event, man. That's all it was. That's all it was, man. Hop on Google, bro. It's right there. There's the
You did some homework.
I did,
yeah,
man.
I know, right?
I'm not gonna lie. I did more homework than I'm proud to admit.
He did the homework. He brought out the binoculars.
Oh my fucking god! The hell you have binoculars for? Like,
don't question me. Don't question me.
I bet you can see
Fuck.
some fucking like apartment complexes across from your windows, Benji.
Oh, man.
I had to bring them out so I could see how far I could see your point now. You know.
What's that there?
Oh my
Oh, fuck.
gosh, Jesus.
Waited this entire time to bust those out. It was so worth it.
That was, dude. You waited to the perfect time. Like, what the? Oh my god, dude.
Oh. That's
No,
great.
that's probably the best kayfabe answer we're gonna get. I don't got anything for that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you top that? I can't top that.
I was going to go kind of like into the story. I mean, Vince wanted it to be as safe as possible, so he's like, if I take that truck out and shit goes wrong, it's not going nowhere. So if somebody gets thrown off, they need a little softer landing.
Vince.
I gotta
Yep.
protect my investment.
It makes sense because Vince was
Okay.
trying to look out for the safety. So yeah, I got you.
So that's where I was going. It's
Alright.
a lot less investigative than yours. But
Right.
Yeah.
This guy.
Like I said, I hopped on Google Maps. I was like looking at everything around the goddamn venue. Like I did some work, bro.
Holy.
oh shit.
All right. Like I said, man, you gotta while I'm going through the questions, if you could, Sebastian, find out who's asking them so we can shout them out, man.
Okay, do you want to just go to his second one since it was the same guy?
Okay,
That's
cool.
us.
Yeah, same person. All right.
Yeah. It was number 5.
Benji, this is for you, bro, because this is more your area.
what's up?
Is there a place for intergender wrestling in today's WWE?
Yes, there is. There is. I have been blocked a lot on Twitter for this point. I believe that wrestling is for everybody. They're wrestlers. I don't see the connection. I personally don't see the connection between a man wrestling a woman and domestic violence or wherever other wild points they're getting. They're wrestlers, man. Let them wrestle, you know. We've seen in other companies recently that intergender matches can work. People are ready for it. WWE, it can be done. They're just so afraid just to pull the trigger on it. We got little bits and pieces of it with Nia Jax, you know, in the Royal Rumble. It can work, you know. Just
Becky got
let
the end
them
of
do
days.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Becky
got
did.
The days, like, and you know what? people saw her more of a badass for taking it. You know, they didn't say like, oh, you know, it's a frail woman. No, like she came out like looking like a badass, dude. She took that 100%, man. So I think it can be done, dude. Like I think if you want equality, then be equal. You know, they're wrestlers, dude. Let them wrestle, and let them tell the stories they can tell. You know, I think it can work. That whole stigma and mindset that you know, intergender wrestling might bring, I feel like that's just an antiquated an idea that really, to me, doesn't really translate to the. It's sending mixed messages. You know, they have the women's evolution, they have all this stuff, but at the same time, it's like, okay, you're equal, but you're not really equal because you can't, you know. So it's like you either are or you're not, you know.
Fuck yes, Benji. You are the man, dude. I absolutely agree with you 100%. Yeah, I mean...
I mean, there's ways to do it where it's believable. Obviously, you know, if you have, like,
Look at
Lita
Lita and Dean Malenko from the pay-per-view we just watched.
Right.
Dean overpowered her and won, yes, but it didn't look like a domestic violence. It just looked like someone who had an advantage over another person.
Right. It's done in a way that's believable. Like if you have like Alexa Bliss power bombing Brock Lesnar, then yeah, you're gonna lose. No one's gonna see that shit, you know. But like you gotta.
I would pay to see that shit. I would pay to see it. All right.
Yeah, I agree with everything he said. I don't have much more to add to that.
Okay, so Sebastian, I'm gonna leave this one for you then, bro. Hopefully, so you've been doing your research, and you can let Benji and I get some time. If you were to book a 6-man Hell in the Cell match today, like the one we got on Armageddon, who would you put in it?
Okay. If I had to book one today, I'd choose Lesnar's title, and that way he can lose it because he's not getting pinned. Right, so that's a way to get the belt off him. So Lesnar, Rollins, Reigns. And I'm trying to just keep it on the Raw brand.
Okay.
Because they say the brand split's still a thing, but you know it's. Who did I say? Lesnar, Rollins, Reigns, McIntyre. Okay, forget what I said about the brands, but those 4.
Got 2 more.
Andrade. Probably Orton, just
nice
because he has the Hell in a Cell experience, and so that'd probably be the ones I book.
What about you, Benji?
Off the top of my head, I'm gonna go Lesnar. I want Lesnar in this. Give me Andrade, give me Ali, and then. Give me Rollins and McIntyre, and then throw Reigns in there, I guess.
Okay, nice.
That's off the top of my head. Whatever.
Off the top of my head, I'm gonna say Ali, Andrade, Rollins. That's a hot combo right there. I guess Reigns.
You should throw Barry Corbin in there.
No. Oh, here we go. Ali, Rollins, Reigns, McIntyre, Ali, Rollins, Reigns, McIntyre. Oh, Jesus.
You had extra time to think about it, man.
Oh, no, I didn't. No, Andrade, and then I was trying to think of Andrade, and then Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt is the wild card.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Bray Wyatt. I was trying to fill the 5th spot just so I could make Bray Wyatt the last spot. Like, that's all I was trying to do.
I would try to maybe replace somebody with AJ Styles.
Ah,
yeah,
damn
yeah.
it. You know, damn it. You got it right.
I don't know who I'd take out. I'd probably take out probably Rollins, I guess, just because I'm tired of Rollins and Lesnar right now. So
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. And then, let me see here. Let me get back to our questions. Where the are they? Okay. So, next up is... Okay, Jericho spilling coffee on Kane. I guess, is that what started the feud for this in Armageddon?
Pretty-
Was Jericho spilling
pretty
coffee on
much.
Kane?
Yeah, it was pretty much the start of it. Yeah.
So what else is the most random thing that start a feud that you guys have seen? I'm gonna start off, and I'm gonna say it was Hangman Page thinking that Joey Ryan was a penis pretender. Like that was the most random fucking feud in my book. I just want to get it out of the way now, so I don't have to overthink it. But
Off the top of my head, man, I can't think of one off the top of my head.
I got nothing that tops the coffee. No.
what
Yeah,
about the
that-
shampoo commercial between what was it, Edge and Booker T?
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess you could.
That was pretty random.
Yeah.
it was just like, we need you guys to have a match, but we don't know how to start it, so just start talking shit.
Just go throw your coffee at him, and we're gonna have last man
Right.
standing back.
Yeah, my thing was the whole being the elite was on the Being the Elite series was Hangman Page being the, like, he's got a big dick, but then they befriend Joey Ryan, who's known for his penis, and it just became a penis feud. That was
Wrestling, y'all. Wrestling.
that's wrestling, bro. All right,
Oh shit.
so so the last one here is the most serious of the questions. Okay, so put our serious faces on. Rikishi was the one that didn't stand out in the match, apparently, to this one guy. He said he's one of these guys that is not like the others, and what he meant was like main event type.
Oh,
So
okay. I
they
took it a
said
different way.
he goes on to say, obviously they were trying to give him a push here, but when you got guys like Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit, why are they not giving the spots to someone else over? So why did Rikishi get the spot over these other guys like Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho? And my answer was, look, back then they were just taking risks. They created a story. You know, that was it. They took risks like we're taking with these cameras right here, which
Yeah.
they freeze up on Sebastian, or like they're frozen right now on Benji, who he needs to refresh his stream. There we go. They took a risk on him, man. Honestly, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, so do you guys think they had a solid answer for who ran over Stone Cold when they ran that angle? Because that's what got him in the Hell in the Cell match. Was he's the guy who ran over Stone Cold?
Yeah.
I mean, they could have put anybody. Oh no, I think they knew what they were doing by putting him in there. It's not like he's a slouch either, dude. Like, dude's mad talented, and it's not like he's just a random person, you know. I think being that it was him fit that perfectly. If you picture Jericho or Benoit taking that spot on, it's not going to be the same thing.
No. I think there might be a stigma because he was never world champion. Everyone else in that match was world champion at some point. Rikishi never got that belt.
It's really because that Rikishi didn't spill coffee on Kane. But
True.
serious answer, it's pretty much what Benji said. Because if you go back and watch the build, when Foley And the thing is, it's crazy that they only announced this match 10 days before.
Right,
That
right,
blows,
right.
that
For
blows
real,
my
the
mind.
match was only given 10 days build.
Announced, yeah.
I didn't
I mean,
even know
they were.
that.
Yeah, it was on SmackDown, not the one before, but a week before.
So the
And
SmackDown
that's
a week
pretty much,
prior.
yeah, that's pretty much it. He said your all's lives, talking about all 6 of them, has been intertwined.
No shit,
Talking about
dude.
Rikishi running them over. So he said we're gonna put a stop to this, and that's pretty much how the match happened. It's because their careers were all on the same path, you could say, as far as storyline wise.
Yeah, Jericho and Benoit they had different things going on at the time, I don't think it would have made sense to have them in that main event. At that specific time.
And Benoit won the Intercontinental Championship that night too, so they had
Right.
plans for him. And I don't know how far ahead the plan was for the whole Coffee Jericho thing, but obviously Benoit more had plans at the time, putting
Right.
the belt on him.
Damn. Yeah. No, I mean, true point. Good point. Good point. So I mean, yeah, like you just, dude, when you got a company that's running a wrestling promotion, you have to give these guys chances, man. You know what I mean? To see what they can do, because otherwise, what are you gonna know?
Right.
Look what happened. WCW had Stone Cold on their roster. They didn't give him a chance, and look what fucking happened. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to
Right.
give these guys that you don't necessarily know what's gonna happen. Just give them a chance. And Rikishi, they never, that was pretty much it. That was like the apex for Rikishi. But to say he didn't deserve a spot in that match is wrong, in my opinion. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it made sense story-wise, though. Storyline-wise. God bless, I can't speak. But,
But
I thought it made.
But, hey, look, that's what it is, and that's our show, man. That is Armageddon 2000. Thank you guys for joining us. Once again, last second, let us plug that giveaway, man. Hop on Twitter. Just say, listen, follow, subscribe to @SmackDrawPod on YouTube. And get a chance to win some wrestling cards, man. Come on now. But I'm going to let Benji... I'll let you guys sign off here tonight. Once again, I'm Kyle. You can follow me at the Kai Tai Show. But you guys obviously hear Sebastian, the AJ Styles of podcasting, and Benji are the real stars, the phenomenal. So let these guys tell you where to follow them at.
Go ahead, man.
At WrestlingFan_32.
You can follow me at Galavera Comedy on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. We talked a lot about nostalgia. We talked a lot about the past, and it's good sometimes to look back and just think about where we've been, so we can get a